Did you know that belief in God with absolute certainty is at an all-time low? Or that prayer and church attendance have taken a major dip over the last decade? The latest Pew Research religious landscape study just dropped, and the numbers, some of them are just absolutely staggering. What does this mean for churches and for ministry leaders and for the future of faith in America? Now stick around, because we're going to dive into the most important religious trends shaping our culture today here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Todd Rhodes. I'm one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. And today we're taking a look at 5 of the things that I found really fascinating about the latest Pew Research religious landscape study. Okay, so let's dig right in. The first thing that I found was really interesting was the shift in belief. And we're talking about fewer Americans that are certain about God, okay? Fewer Americans are certain about God. In 2023 and 2024, only 14% of young adults, 18 to 29-year-olds, say that they believe in God with absolute certainty. And that's a steep decline from previous years. Let's compare this to 2007, 38% of those in their 30s and 40s believed with certainty about God. Today's numbers, it's dropped from 38% to 30%. And the biggest drop, believe it or not, are seniors 65 and older that are less and less believing with certainty that God actually exists. So what happens here? What's happening here? The shift really suggests that younger generations are moving away from traditional religious certainty, raising some serious concerns for church engagement and faith formation. So churches, really, you need to think about how to reach and disciple younger believers. That's the takeaway from this point number 1. The second thing are fewer people are praying, and that's a big deal, okay? Daily prayer is declining. In 2007, 58% of Americans said that they prayed daily. By 2014, it had gone from 58 to 55%. And today, it's gone from 58 to 55 to 44% of people that say that they pray daily. And what's even more alarming is that almost a third, 32% of Americans say that they seldom or never pray, okay? If you're a church leader, man, this is a wake-up call. Prayer is the foundational part of our personal faith, and churches need to focus on teaching and modeling and fostering a prayer culture to combat this trend, okay? So prayer is the second trend. Number 3, let's talk about church attendance, okay? Is church attendance fading? Here's what Pew found. When it comes to attending church services, the numbers are, they're even more concerning, okay? According to Pew, only about 25% of Americans attend church at least once a week. 25, 1 in 4. That to me even sounds high. 49% seldom or never attend church, and nearly half the population, 49%. So what are the implications of this? If fewer people prioritize gathering for worship, what does this mean for community and spiritual growth and church sustainability? As church leaders, we need to have this on our radar, that church attendance, you can just figure that only about a quarter of the people in your community attend church, and almost half regularly, and almost half, 49%, seldom or never attend church. So the harvest is very plentiful. All right, number 4, the Bible's influence is shrinking. Boy, this sounds like a downer today, doesn't it? But only 44% of Americans, according to Pew, say that the Bible is extremely or very important in their lives. And 61%, whopping 61%, say they seldom or never, ever read Scripture. Now, if we were to compare that to past generations, that's really clear. Biblical literacy is in decline, and churches need to rethink how they engage people with Scripture in new and compelling ways. We just talked about this on a recent episode of the podcast about biblical illiteracy and how it's really plaguing and causing some real problems in our churches, because if there's not biblical literacy, culture and politics and everything else creeps in and takes over what people really believe in their core beliefs. All right, last thing, do people still believe in heaven and hell? 67% of people believe in heaven, 67%, but that's down from 74% in the last 15 years or so. So 74% down to 67%. 55, a little over half of people believe in hell. That's down from 59%. Okay, so from 59 to 55. So what does this mean? As secular perspectives grow, fewer people hold to a biblical view of the afterlife. And this could indicate a rise in kind of personalized spirituality over traditional doctrine. What does this mean, these 5 things? What does all this mean for the future of faith in America? The numbers, if you just look at the numbers, they paint a picture of declining religious engagement and less certainty in God, and a drop in prayer and scripture reading, a drop in church attendance. But there has to be some good news, right? Please, Todd, tell me there's some good news. Here's the good news. And this is why it's an exciting time to be in ministry. The good news is, man, what an opportunity. This is an opportunity for churches to reach people. This is an opportunity for churches, for your church, for you as a leader, to adapt and to innovate and to re-engage people in meaningful ways. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? That's the challenge today. As you look at your church, in your local community, in your city, in your county, what do these trends tell you about the people that are in your church? Because there are some trends about how much people are praying, how much people are attending your church. It also tells you a lot about the people that you're trying to reach in your community. How can you reach them better? So I would love to hear what surprised you most about this study. Most of us would probably say, not much. Do these trends reflect what you're seeing in your church? Okay. What can your church do to buck these trends? Let's start that conversation. You can do so in the comments where you're listening to this podcast. You can do it on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can drop a comment in the comments section. But I would love to hear from you. And you can also email me. I read each and every email that comes in. I would love to hear from you at podcast@chemistrystaffing.com if you've got a comment. And if there's any way that I can help your church, specifically in the area of church health, maybe that's staffing, maybe that's in compensation, maybe that's in structure, any way that I can help your church, or we've got a tremendous team here at Chemistry Staffing that has all kinds of different specialties in youth ministry and worship ministry and leadership. If there's any way that we can kind of help you in maybe your blind spots or your weak spots to come alongside and help to make your church stronger and healthier in your community, reach out to me. I'd love to start a dialogue, love to start a conversation to see how we might be able to help your church. We're here for you, we're for you, and we want to be able to help strengthen you and reach your community right exactly where you are with what God has called you to do. So reach out to me, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love it if you would join me again tomorrow right here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast, and I hope you have a really great day.